Have you ever went to watch a spooky movie and after you started watching said to yourself, is this really a horror movie? We here at Three Lame Guys have also asked ourselves this question many times. As you can tell, we're a fan of the genre. TJ and I asked Google to give us a list of horror movies in the last 20 years and then decided we would tell you. Is it a horror movie? Okay, before we get started, there are rules as to what we consider a horror movie. Number 1, the main theme has to be horror related. It can have comedy, it can have action, but it can't have too much of anything other than horror. It has to be horror themed. Number 2, there has to be a metaphysical aspect. It can't just be people doing all the bad things. Ghosts, vampires, demons, monsters, etc. But not just people. Number 3, it doesn't have to be R-rated, but it kind of does. But real horrors have to have that slight extra edge. Number 4, the good guys never truly win. A good horror movie will never see the good team actually win. The movie should always leave you hanging like there's some unfinished business out there. That way you have no closure, and that's a disturbing feeling, and we love it. And number 5, we do not include slashers on our list. I know, we're gonna take some heat for this one, but our reasoning is slashers are already clearly horror movies. But they're in their own subgenre, almost so much that we're, in this case, not considering them horror movies at all, just to bug you. Okay, having said that, let's get to part 1. This is part 1 of our rather extensive horror movie list, and we're just prepared to make all of you mad tonight. So we're going to get started off with Alien vs. Predator. TJ! Alien vs. Predator. Probably the best movie in the Alien and Predator franchise, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it brings everything that we want together, you know, aliens and predators, family fun all around.
All around.
But in actuality, no, it's probably not even close to a good alien or predator movie.
It's really borderline a good movie at all.
Let's just concede and say it's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie that was made.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about tonight, more specifically, not necessarily is it a good movie or a bad movie, but is it a horror movie? Scary monster villain, but I mean, different. Like, so if you ask me about the original Predator movie or the original Alien movie, I would say, I don't know if I'd say yes, but I feel like I'm closer to a yes on those than I am on this one, because this one, I think, is an action movie.
Yeah, so it is, in my opinion, definitely not a horror movie in any sense of the terms. I mean, it is straight up action. It's an action movie with aliens and predators is what it is. It's not a horror movie.
Not to get into whether if it was good or bad or all that other than outside horror movie. But, that's the one thing I think I didn't care for the most in that film was the bond between the predator and the...
it made no sense.
No, it made zero sense. So... Alien versus Predator. We're going to give us a thumbs up or thumbs down on the count of 3. Of course, thumbs up means yes, it's a horror movie. Thumbs down means absolutely not. So, TJ, I think we pretty much agree on this one on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thumbs down.
Not a Alien versus Predator does not make the cut.
Google, you are wrong.
Who's talking?
That's your phone.
Oh, I thought it was my headphones. I'm like, where? Google started talking. Google listens to me.
Google tracks you. You should turn that crap off. Thank God you don't have something like Siri.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't light up. Usually it lights
darn
up.
it.
My phone doesn't listen to me because she's a bitch.
All right, up next on the list, the Black Phone. Now, Black Phone, a lot better chance of making the list than Alien versus Predator did. I, however, am still going to say no because you do have a metal fiddle. It's a ghost fiddle.
It's a metafiddle.
It's a metafiddle. You do have a metaphysical aspect with the ghosts and the ghosts that are trying to communicate with the boy and his sister to get out of that and punish Ethan Hawke's character. The ghosts aren't really maleficent, I don't guess. They're helping. They're not hurting. They're not trying to hurt. This is a psychological thriller, not a horror movie.
So I'm gonna kind of agree but kind of disagree. So like the horror aspect, yes, there are ghosts that are haunting this kid who's trapped in a basement. You later find out that they are there to help. I mean, wouldn't the aspect of, is it Ethan Hawke? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't the aspect of his character there also tormenting the child lead more towards it being a form of horror movie?
You drive a good point home there. I think so. Like I said, it's definitely more than some of them on these lists.
I think ultimately the end is where it kind of plays into it because, yeah, it does lead more towards a psychological thriller or a psychological horror type thing, but a straight up horror movie, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, no, it's not straight up not a horror movie.
So, and one of the other things that I wanted to say about it too is on our list of is it a horror movie things, one of the things I always have on there is the good guys never really win. They never truly win. The good guys won in this case. He gets out of the house. There's no repercussion. There's nothing there to leave you on the edge thinking Ethan Hawke is going to run out of this house. He's not really dead kind of thing. A good horror movie is going to leave you on your seat at the end of that movie to make you think it's not over yet. So yeah, I think we're in agreement on this too. Man, this is going to make some people mad. But on 3, 2, 1, Black Phone. No. Up next is Cabin Fever. Now, Cabin Fever is one that I'm really on the fence about because I really, I want to give it that horror movie status. And so what I'm going to do now, TJ, is I'm going to have you try to convince me why it is or is not a horror movie.
Okay, so I consider Cabin Fever a horror movie. Yes. Okay, so they're not facing ghosts. They're not facing demons. But honestly, what could be scarier than something that is real and in nature, like a flesh-eating virus, bacteria, from the simple fact of just touching the water.
That's true.
You contract this and you don't know what's going on. You're out in the middle of nowhere. You have cell phones and, no internet. You can't really do anything. You're basically stuck, and all this stuff starts happening. This is a horror movie, in my opinion. It's just not maybe one of your, typical demons or ghosts or, scary monster kind of thing. But in this, the scary monster is the virus, the bacteria, that whatever it is that's causing all this.
That makes sense.
So, and part of the criteria is the good guys never win. Well, in this, the good guys don't win.
They dang sure don't.
I think the dead body in the reservoir at the end.
Yeah, gives you an indication that this is going to be a bigger thing.
There's no way. There's no cure. There's nothing. You just you catch it, you die. That's what it is. And the guy that survives, I guess, at the end because he drank beer the entire time.
Yeah, which was a nice little caveat.
But I think he ends up still getting it, or at least he's going to at the end. So
yeah, it leads up to that.
Yeah.
All right, so well, you convinced me. So it's a horror movie. Should we still do thumbs up?
Yeah, let's do thumbs up. Horror movie,
Cabin Fever. All right, up next on the list is The Devil's Rejects from Rob Zombie. I'm on the fence about this one as well because it's got all the aspects to a good horror movie there, but it's almost, it's slasher-esque in a way.
To me, it's not even slasher-esque. It's not even so House of a Thousand Corpses, I would classify more as a horror movie.
Right, absolutely.
But The Devil's Rejects is, you have your 3 characters and they're basically tormenting a group of people in a motel.
Yeah.
Right? I would not classify this as horror. It is definitely psychological. It's definitely a thriller, but definitely, I would definitely not say it was horror.
See, I'm with you. It's not horror to me. It's more on that verge of psychological thriller.
And you're at this point, it's The Devil's Rejects, and you're almost rooting for
exactly
the bad guys.
You should never want to root for the bad guys in a good horror movie.
So they're the anti-heroes of the thing, and it's not horror.
All right, Devil's Rejects. Is it a horror?
Nope,
it's not. All right, now we have the remake of Fright Night with Colin Mockery, Colin Farrell, whatever his name is, that Irish guy. And then Jesse Eisenhower. What's the kid's name? I don't even know their names. But anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Fright Night with the Irish guy. Yeah, the Irish vampire.
With Colin Mockery and Jesse Eisenhower. Okay, so this is a vampire movie. Yeah. Straight up.
Yeah.
It's all it is. It's a vampire movie. Vampire movies never really end with... I can't remember even how this one ends. If they defeat all the vampires and everyone lives happily ever after.
Yes.
Then how do you get a sequel if that's the case? So I'm gonna say I'll give it a horror movie. I'll say it's a horror movie this time, but honestly it's vampire movies or something.
Vampire movies are kind of like slashers. Even though they're horror, they're in a category by themselves, which is horror, but for purposes of this it's not. So all right, well, I actually agree with you on that. I think this borderline being too campy, but it wasn't. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a horror movie. So, Fright Night, for us, it's a horror movie. All right, next one up is Last Shift. Last Shift, if you haven't seen, because I think this one was a little bit underground, but it's basically about a police officer being stuck at a police station on the last night that station is open, and for some reason they need the place manned overnight to answer phones but even though it's like closing down.
Yeah, so like, apparently this is also a world where like call forwarding, it doesn't exist.
Can't send it to another police station, the new one that's being built, or
yeah. So she's like, she's there by herself. A bunch of weird, crazy stuff starts happening. To me, I mean, this one, there's some aspects of it that kind of freaks me out a little bit. So I'm going to definitely say this one's a horror movie.
I agree. It's a horror movie because you had you had the stalker aspect of the ghosts or the demon.
A lot of supernatural.
A lot of supernatural stuff there. It was all there, and really kind of a movie that like. You know kind of what's going to happen, but you don't know what's going to happen. It kind of leaves you guessing, or you're on edge the entire time you're watching it because you're like, what happens next? And then you start to question life choices like, could I do that? Could I be a security guard at a thing where I had to stay all night? What happens if this happens? So yeah, Last Shift definitely did it. Last Shift, what do you think? Horror movie. Up next is The Lazarus Effect. If you haven't seen The Lazarus Effect, basically they're trying to manipulate...
Trying to cheat death. It was original... They're formulating with some formulas to try to formulate a formulation, basically to help coma patients and to bring people out of comas. They end up making people immortal, but not only that, giving them like superhuman abilities and powers, telekinesis. Olivia Wilde is the main character in it, who also turns out to be the psychopath. It had all the aspects there of a good horror movie. It's just it took place inside of a lab instead of, in a cornfield or a Camp Crystal Lake, or I'm going to say The Lazarus Effect was a horror movie. See, I'm going to go the opposite route on this. I'm going to say it wasn't a horror movie. To me, it felt more, given the whole like, hey, we're playing God and trying to inject ourselves with something that's, eventually gives us like superpowers. This is a Lex Luthor project is what it is. If you ever watch Smallville, this is what's happening at Cadmus Labs, right? So to me, this is more of a science fiction than a horror movie.
Okay, I'll give you that. Now, in 5 words or less, can you get me to change my mind on that? Because if you can't, we have to go to a tiebreaker. What is that tiebreaker? I'm going to pause the video in a minute and we'll talk about it.
All right, 5 words. I'm not even going to try. That's 6, but I count to try.
It's like 2-try.
Yeah.
Okay.
2-try.
All right. Well, okay. Yeah. You heard it from TJ. It's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
Big time. All right. This one's going to piss people off. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake from 2010. TJ, is this a horror movie?
Yeah. So it's definitely a slasher, but it is a supernatural slasher. So, Freddy Krueger's haunting kids in their dreams. And a lot of those dreams are kind of creepy. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say this is actually probably did as good a job as the original Nightmare on Elm Street in being a horror movie. Now, Nightmare on Elm Street franchise in general turned more into a slasher kind of thing, in my opinion, but this one I think is a horror movie.
I agree. They kept the horror vibe to it. It's a horror movie. Up next on our list, No One Will Save You. It's an alien movie. It's a sci-fi movie, but TJ, is it a horror movie?
See, I'm going to say no on this. To me, it is just that. It's a sci-fi movie. Aliens are coming down. Yes, this girl lives alone in her house. For some reason, I can't even remember what the reason was.
I think she inherited it.
No, I think she she was blamed for the death of someone maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
And was basically a pariah to this whole town. No one wanted to be anything around her.
She didn't get out in public a whole lot.
So she wouldn't, she's notices people start going crazy, and then it's basically, they're inhabited by aliens, and she's like, oh God, what do? We have to fight. And then somehow dances in the street with them at the end. I don't know. To me, it's a good movie.
It's a real good movie.
It's a really good movie, but it's not a horror movie.
I agree 100% because of that. It's too... it doesn't have all the aspect. It's more sci-fi than it is horror, but it is a good movie. So TJ, thumbs up, thumbs down on No One Will Save You. Not a horror movie. Sorry. Up next, and this one's going to go quick because... Go back and look at the rules. Thanksgiving. TJ, is Thanksgiving a horror movie?
No, it is a slasher.
And a slasher is a horror, but it's not a horror because a slasher is by itself. That may not make sense to you, but it makes sense to us. And if it doesn't make sense to you, well then
based on our rules,
that's our rules.
Slasher does not qualify.
Yeah, it's its own category. Think of an umbrella, kids. Not a corporation of an umbrella, but just an umbrella. Well, slasher may be under that umbrella. It's sort of its own umbrella, you know? Like when you think of an umbrella, you think of
So what Jared's trying to say is
it's an umbrella under an umbrella.
Yeah.
So yeah, TJ, Thanksgiving,
Nope.
not a horror movie. Slasher movie. Fight me. Up next, continuing with the rage that is going to start from that last one, The Strangers. TJ, The Strangers. The Strangers is not a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie. It's a psychological movie, where people are being hunted and tormented by a group of people. Basically, it's like a retelling of the Manson murders.
Yeah, very much. Very much.
So, it's... Yes, that can be scary. In the movie sense, I don't find it very scary. It's just, someone breaking in. I mean...
I wouldn't say that it is scary so much as it's like it puts you on edge.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those movies that they shot it to design it so you could see, hey, this is something that could happen to me. So, TJ, what do you think about The Strangers? Horror movie?
No.
Nah. Finally, to phase out part 1, X from A24. And... we're just going to say right now, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
No.
It's not even a good movie.
No.
Much less a horror movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. Well, I do know why it's classified as a horror movie, but they got it wrong for every one of the reasons.
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a movie. It's a movie that has 6 minutes of horror-related things at the end.
Yeah, maybe, if that.
I don't even think it was that.
No.
It's just at the end, there's like a snap, and she's like, maybe I should unalive those people. And the rest of the movie is about people getting naked on a farm.
Yeah.
With a creepy grandma.
Filming a video.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Do you agree with this or not? Oh, I'm sorry. X, horror movie? No.
Nope.
What did you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Can't wait for this. And this is just part 1. There are going to be 6 of these. We look forward to your hate. Tell us if you disagree with this, and be specific. Don't forget to like the video if you're still here. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't left yet. And what else am I supposed to tell? Oh, smash the dinghy. Go smash the dinghy right now, kids. Smash the dinghy.
Or not. We're not in charge of you.
No,
You make your own decisions.
Hey.
Okay, smash the dinghy. This is what we'll do. If you can get us 500,000 subscribers,
Yeah.
we will start making things that you like. We promise. But we have to have 500,000 subscribers and like hundreds of thousands of views. And once we get that, then we will start making things for you to like and for you to watch. And that way, we'll start agreeing with everything you say.
Yeah. We'll stop trying to piss you off just for clicks. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, bye.